Hello everyone, I'm Bubbles from Susan's family. Today, I'm going to show you the Mengran square neck cardigan from the Retro Nostalgia series. This cardigan consists of the body, chest, sleeves, edging, collar, cuffs and buttons. First, crochet the body and the chest in sequence. Then, work on the sleeves. After completing them, proceed to crochet the edging. Next, crochet the collar. Finally, finish with crocheting the cuffs and making the buttons. Let's start by learning the body. It is made up of a corresponding number of motifs. Except for the first motif, which needs to be completely crocheted. The rest of the motifs should be connected to the previous ones. When crocheting the final round, all motifs start with the chain ring method. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. The stitches used are all marked on the chart. I won't go through each one here. Now, let's show. This cardigan comes in both solid color and variegated dye versions. When crocheting the variegated dye version, the starting position of the yarn tail will affect the final effect. For convenience in watching, here, I'll demonstrate with cotton yarn, for specific yarn, color schemes, and hook sizes. Please refer to the detail page of our product and the charts. First, work 4 chains. Then slip stitch into the top loop of the first chain. Pull tight. That completes the chain ring. Now let's crochet the first round. Make 3 chains. The beginning chain counts as 1 double crochet, unless otherwise specified later. Every 3 chains for beginning chains will count as 1 double crochet, then work 2 chains as an interval. Next, make 1 double crochet into the chain ring. Remember to weave in the yarn tails while crocheting. Then chain 2 again. This round involves making the corresponding number of double crochets into the chain ring, with chain intervals in between. Continue to complete this round. After finishing the last 2 chains, slip stitch into the beginning chain. Insert your hook into the top 2 loops of the third chain from the beginning chain. Tighten it. That completes the first round. The side with the starting tail is the wrong side. The other side is the right side. Always work with the right side facing you for subsequent rounds. You can trim off the starting tail since part of it has already been woven in. Now let's work on the second round. Start with 3 chains. Then make 3 double crochets into the chain space. Next, make 1 double crochet on the double crochet. Let's take a look. This round consists of making 3 double crochets in each chain space, and 1 double crochet on each double crochet. Continue to complete this round. After finishing the last chain space, slip stitch into the beginning chain. Tighten the yarn. That's how you complete the second round. Now let's move on to the third round. Start with 3 chains. Pick up the stitch and work 3 double crochets. After completing, work 2 double crochets on the adjacent stitch. Work 3 chains in between. Then continue to work 3 double crochets. Work 2 double crochets on the next adjacent stitch. Work 3 chains in between. Continue alternating between working 3 double crochets. Work 2 double crochets in the same stitch, and work 3 chains in between. Using this method, work this round completely. Finally, work 1 more double crochet in the beginning chain. Work 1 chain. Lastly, join with a half double crochet to the beginning chain. That completes the third round. Now let's move on to the fourth round. Start with 3 chains. Work 3 chains as the interval. Then work 1 DC5 tog. First, start with an unclosed double crochet in the beginning chain from the previous round. Then move to the 4 stitches on the left. Work 1 unclosed double crochet in each of these stitches. Yarn over, and draw through in once. That completes 1 DC5 tog. Then work 3 chains. Below, in the adjacent chain space, work 3 chains between the double crochets. After completing it, work 3 more chains. Then on the next 5 adjacent double crochets, work 1 DC5 tog. After completing it, work 3 more chains. Let's take a look. This round involves working a DC5 tog on the double crochets. Work double crochets in the chain spaces, and work 3 chains as intervals between them. Continue to complete this round. Finally, work 1 double crochet in the connecting chain space. One chain. Then also connect with a half double crochet. That completes the 4th round. Next, let's work on the 5th round. Start with 3 chains. In this last connecting chain space, work 4 double crochets. Then work 3 chains. Then work 1 double crochet in the next adjacent double crochet. Two chains. Then work 1 DC2 tog. First, in the same insertion point as this double crochet, work 1 unclosed double crochet. Continue with 1 more unclosed double crochet in the next adjacent double crochet, then yarn over and draw through all loops once. That completes 1 DC2 tog. Work 2 more chains. Then, in the same insertion point as the second unclosed double crochet, work 1 more double crochet. Then work 3 chains. Let's take a look. Treat the 3 chains on the left and right, along with the stitches in between, as one side. Next, in the chain space between the double crochets. First work 5 double crochets. Then work 3 chains. In the same position, work 5 more double crochets. Treat the stitches inside this chain space as a corner. Next, continue using the method for sides and corners to complete this round. Finally, in the connecting chain space, work 5 more double crochets. This fills in the starting corner. Finally, work 1 more double crochet to join. This completes the 5th round. Now let's move on to the 6th round. Start with 3 chains. In the connecting double crochet space, work 4 double crochets. Then work 3 more chains. Next, work 1 DC5 tog. Now let's work the sides. Start with 3 chains. Work 1 double crochet in the adjacent double crochet. Then work 2 chains. Next, work 1 DC2 tog. First, in the same position of this double crochet, work 1 unclosed double crochet. Then, on the stitch where the adjacent DC2 tog is located, work one more unclosed double crochet. Yarn over and draw through in once. Then work 2 more chains. Next, work 1 DC2 tog. First, on this stitch of the DC2 tog, work 1 unclosed double crochet. Then, on the adjacent double crochet, work 1 more unclosed double crochet, yarn over and draw through in once. Then work 2 more chains. On this double crochet, work 1 more double crochet. 3 chains. One side is finished. Next, let's work the corner. First, crochet 1 DC5 tog. Three chains. Then, in the chain space, hook 5 double crochets. And 3 chains. Then, crochet another DC5 tog. That's how you finish the corner position. Below, continue following the method for sides and corners. Work this round completely. Finally, complete the starting corner. Join with a slip stitch into the beginning chain. That's it for completing the 6th round. Now let's crochet the 7th round. Make 3 chains. Then, first work 4 unclosed double crochets. Yarn over, and pull through once. Treat the completed stitches as a special DC5 tog. Remember, the beginning chain doesn't count as one stitch. Then work 8 chains. Next, work along the side of the previous round's position. After finishing that, make another 8 chains. Then work 1 DC5 tog. Followed by another 8 chains. Continue working this round completely. Finally, after completing the last 8 chains, join with a slip stitch into the starting special DC5 tog. Gently tighten. That completes the 7th round. Now let's move on to the 8th round. Make 5 chains. Then work 8 more chains. Next, work along the side. Start with a single crochet into the chain space from the previous round. Then make 3 chains. Continue working all the way down this side. After completing it, work the corner. Start with 8 chains. Then work 1 double treble crochet into this stitch. Yarn over 3 times. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through, then yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops on your hook. Repeat this 4 times. That completes 1 double treble crochet, then make 8 more chains. The corner is now finished. Continue to work this round completely. After finishing the last 8 chains, join with a slip stitch to the beginning chain. Pull tight. That completes the 8th round. Now let's work on the 9th round. Chain 3 to start. Then work the sides. First, make 9 double crochets into the left chain space. Once completed, chain 3. Then work the corresponding stitch on the stitches. After finishing, chain 3 again. Work 9 double crochets into the left chain space. That completes one side. Now let's work on the corner. On the left double treble crochet, make 2 double crochets, chain 9 in between. Continue working this round completely. Finally, work 1 double crochet into the beginning chain of the previous round. Chain 9. Then join with a slip stitch to the beginning chain. Tighten it up. That completes the 9th round. The first motif is now finished. Leave a bit of tail and fasten off the yarn. Weave the yarn tails on the wrong side. Now let's crochet the second motif. When working the last round of this motif, you need to join it with the adjacent motif. Refer to the chart first, and finish all rounds except for the last one. Here, I'll demonstrate using a sample. The sample is not for reference. It's only to demonstrate the technique. Now let's work on the final round. You can connect here at any one side and 2 corners. With the previous motif, I will connect this motif to the previous one, on the second side and at both corners. So, first finish all the stitches before the first side. After that, work on the second corner. When crocheting, you need to join it with the adjacent motif. Start by making 1 double crochet. Then chain 4. Next, take the adjacent motif and slip stitch into any chain space of its corner. Insert the hook from the wrong side to the right side. Then chain 4. Make 1 double crochet. To join at the corner. Replace the middle chain with a slip stitch to connect it to the previous motif. Now continue working on the side. Pay attention when crocheting and connect it to the adjacent motif. Start by making 4 double crochets. The next stitch needs to be connected. Enlarge the loop, remove the hook. Then, in the stitch opposite the previous motif, pull the loop through. Then complete this double crochet. Continue with 4 more double crochets. Next, chain 1. Then slip stitch to connect it to the adjacent motif. Chain 1 again. Continue crocheting along this side. The joining method for the DC2 tog here is identical. Start by enlarging the loop. Then, from the stitch opposite the adjacent motif, pull the loop through. Complete this DC2 tog. Continue crocheting all the way down this side. When crocheting further, join at the corresponding position. After finishing the side, you'll reach the corner. Crochet and connect using the previous method. This completes the second connection at the corner position. All subsequent corners should be connected using this same method. Now, continue crocheting the rest of the motif. No connections are needed while crocheting the remaining parts. At the end, make a slip stitch to join. Pull tight. Leave a yarn tail. Weave the yarn tails on the wrong side when you're done. That concludes the second motif. Next, follow the previous demonstration. Continue all the way down to complete the 8th motif. The joining method remains the same as before. Now, let's crochet the 9th motif. As usual, refer to the chart and complete everything up to the last round. Finish all parts before the final round first. Here, I'll continue demonstrating with the sample. Then, crochet the final round and join it. First, finish crocheting all corners and sides before the joining point. After finishing, start connecting the corners. Use the same method as before. After connecting the corner position, continue crocheting and connecting the side positions. Once completed, move on to connect the next corner. You can insert your hook into the same position used for the previous connection. Or pick up 1-2 strands from the joining slip stitch to crochet. Below, continue crocheting all the way around to complete this circle. After finishing, make a slip stitch and tighten it. Leave a yarn tail, fasten off, and weave in the ends. That completes the 9th motif. Next, let's crochet the 10th motif. This motif needs to connect 2 sides and 3 corners. As usual, start by crocheting the last round completely first. After finishing, move on to crochet the final round and connect it. Begin with crocheting the first side using the previous stitch. Once done, work the corner. Connect it to the opposite corner of the adjacent motif. Then, proceed to crochet the side. Connect it to the previous motif. After completing, continue crocheting the corner and connect it. You can crochet this corner into any previous chain space. It's up to you which one you choose. Alternatively, you can crochet it at the previous joining position. As long as there are no noticeable holes after connecting, it's fine. For any similar chain spaces that come up later, connect them using this method. Continue crocheting and connecting the 3rd side and the 4th corner. Then keep going until you finish the entire round. After finishing, fasten off with a slip stitch and tighten. Leave a yarn tail, break the yarn, and weave in the ends. That concludes the 10th motif. Next, let's move on to the 11th motif. This one needs to be connected along 1½ sides and 2 corners. First, crochet the last round up to the connecting position. I've already finished this part here. After finishing, start connecting the side. Begin the connection at the middle DC2 tog. Then complete crocheting this side. Continue until you finish and connect the entire motif. Once done, leave a yarn tail, fasten off, and weave in the ends. That concludes the 11th motif. Next, finish crocheting and connecting the remaining motifs for the body. When you need to connect 1½ sides and 2 corners later, the method will be almost the same as here. From here, complete it on your own. That completes the body section. Now let's learn how to crochet the chest piece. Continue crocheting motifs and connect them to the body. Some motifs also need to be connected to the corresponding motifs on the chest piece. The new stitch used include DCT tog. Now, let's show. Let's start crocheting the 17th motif. Refer to the chart, you can see that this motif is an incomplete one. The crocheting method is almost identical to the complete motifs. The only difference is that you need to work back and forth later. Everyone, refer to the chart first, and finish the first 2 rounds. After that, work row 3. Start with 1 slip stitch in the adjacent stitch. Then make 3 chains. Next, refer to the chart. Continue all the way down to the last 3 chains. Once finished, work a DCT tog. First, work an unclosed double crochet in the corresponding position. Then skip 1 stitch. Work an unclosed treble crochet. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook once. That completes the DCT tog. Row 3 is now finished. Let's move on to row 4. Make 1 turning chain. Turn the work. Work 1 slip stitch in the next chain space. Then make 6 chains. Next, work a DC5 tog. Pay attention. After turning, the stitch will be in the upper left position. Continue to finish this row. Once done, Row 4 is complete. Let's move on to row 5. Make 2 turning chains. Turn the work. Then refer to the chart. Finish this row according to the chart. Once completed, row 5 is done. Now everyone, refer to the chart. Finish everything before the last row. After that, work on the last row. Work 2 chains. Turn the piece. Refer to the chart. Start by working the sides. Then work the corners after finishing the sides, and connect it with the previous motif. Continue to finish the remaining sides and corners. Mindful, join at the corresponding position. After finishing, leave a tail, fasten off, and weave in the end. That concludes the 17th motif. Next, everyone refer to the chart. Work and connect the 18th motif. Below is the 19th motif. This motif needs to connect 2 sides and 2 corners. One of the sides needs to connect with the top side of the 18th motif. Pay attention, when connecting, you also need to leave out the cuffs. That is, the side opposite to the 18th motif does not need to be connected. I have finished all before the last round. Make 3 chains to start. Then work the first side. Here, when I work the first side, I connect it with the corresponding side of the 18th motif above. After finishing the first side, continue to work the second corner, and connect it with the corresponding corner of the 18th motif. After finishing, work the second side. No connection needed while crocheting this side. After finishing, work the third corner. Here, connect it with the corresponding corner of the 11th motif. Then work the third side, and connect it with the corresponding side of the 11th motif. After completing, work the fourth corner, and connect it with the previous motifs. Next, finish crocheting the fourth side. Finally, complete the starting corner. And connect it again to the positions corresponding with the 17th and 18th motifs. Lastly, leave a yarn tail, fasten off, and weave in the ends. That completes the 19th motif. And this also reserves the cuff. Below, we will crochet the 20th motif. One side of this motif also needs to be connected with the 17th motif. Similarly, I have already finished everything before the final round. Then, crochet the last round. Start with 3 chains, then, finish crocheting up to the connection point. Next, connect. Connect at the last DC5 tog of the 17th motif's final row. Then, finish crocheting this side. After finishing, continue and complete the remaining part of this motif, and connect it with the corresponding motifs. Once everything is finished, leave a yarn tail, fasten off, and weave in the ends. Below, everyone can complete it on their own. This concludes the 20th motif. Next, continue to refer to the chart. Keep crocheting all the way down to the 23rd motif. Note, when crocheting, join with the corresponding motifs, and when crocheting the 23rd motif, leave space for the armhole. Finally, crochet the 24th motif. This motif is also an incomplete motif. The crocheting method is almost identical to the 17th motif. Everyone refer to the chart first. Crochet everything before the last row first. After finishing, crochet the last row. Here, you need to join at the starting position. Start with 2 chains. Turn your work. Then, hook out the loops with a DC5 tog on the corresponding part of the 21st motif. Crochet 1 more double crochet. Next, continue to finish this motif and connect it to the corresponding position. Below, you can complete it on your own. After finishing, fasten off the yarn and weave in the ends. That concludes the 24th motif. Up to this point, we've covered the chest piece. Now let's learn how to crochet the sleeves. There are 2 identical ones. Each is made up of 3 motifs. Here, I'll explain using a pre-made example. The 2 motifs on the top are connected to the corresponding motifs on the chest piece. The motif at the bottom is connected to the corresponding part of the body. After connecting the bottom motif, it should look like folded in half. The crocheting method and joining method are the same as before. Both are identical to what we did earlier. Below, you can complete it on your own. That concludes the sleeves. Next, we'll work on the edging. Crochet around the outer edge of the cardigan in rounds, working back and forth. The new stitches used here include Rev SC and SC2 in 1. Now, let's show. First, we'll crochet the first round. Place the right side of the cardigan facing you. Start from the 17th motif. Join the yarn at the first stitch of the last row. For convenience in watching, I'll demonstrate with a different color yarn. Make 3 chains. Then work double crochets along the corresponding chains and stitches of the motif. Begin by crocheting along the side edge. While crocheting, weave in the yarn tails. Pay attention when you reach the chain space at the corner of the motif. Work 5 double crochets here. Then make 2 chains and work 5 more double crochets. Continue crocheting along the hem. Work along the stitches and chain spaces of the motifs in the same way. When you reach the other side's corner, crochet using the same method. Next, on the other side, follow the same method to crochet. After crocheting the edge double crochet, pick up the entire double crochet and work 2 single crochets. Next, when you reach the side of the 24th motif, work along the stitch on the side. If the side has decreases, pick up the unclosed stitches to crochet. If there are yarn tails, you can weave them in as you go. Note, here, all stitches are single crochets. If it's a beginning chain, pick up the beginning chain and crochet. Continue crocheting along the side edge. After finishing the side edge, in the same insertion point as the unclosed treble crochet, work one more stitch. Next is the slip stitch position, where you can pick up the same insertion point of the slip stitch to crochet. Then you reach the side edge again. Continue crocheting along the side edge. After completing it, you'll reach the back piece position. Work along the motif. Pay attention, this is my sample, so there are fewer motifs. I'm just demonstrating the method. After completing it, you'll reach the 17th motif. Continue crocheting along the 17th motif. Finally, work 2 single crochets on the beginning chain. Then join with a slip stitch to the beginning chain. Tighten the yarn. That's how you complete the first round. Now let's move on to the second round. If you're crocheting a solid color version, make 1 beginning chain. Since we are working back and forth in rounds, turn your work after making the beginning chain. If you need to change colors, fasten off the yarn first, then turn the work, join the new yarn at the last stitch of the previous round, and continue crocheting. Start with the SC2-in-1, that means making 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Then continue working single crochets evenly across the stitches. When you reach the roughly symmetrical position on the other side, make another SC2-in-1. When you encounter the chain space at the corner, work 2 single crochets into the chain space. Complete this round completely. After finishing, join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet. Pull tight. That's how you complete the second round. Now let's move on to the third round. Make one beginning chain. Turn your work. Work along the stitches from the previous round. Pay attention. Increase at the corner positions that correspond. Keep crocheting until you reach the position before the buttonhole on the other side. After crocheting, you'll arrive at the corresponding position. Here you need to crochet the buttonhole. Start by crocheting 4 chains, then skip 3 stitches. Continue with single crochets. This is the method for crocheting a buttonhole. Now continue to finish this round. Remember to crochet the buttonholes in the corresponding positions. After finishing, join with a slip stitch and pull tight. That concludes the third round. Next, please refer to the chart and crochet all rounds up to the last one. Finish everything before the final round. In the fourth round, when you reach the buttonhole position from the previous round, crochet the corresponding number of single crochets into the chain space of the buttonhole. For the following rounds, increase stitches at the corner positions according to the chart. Now everyone can finish it on their own. Once completed, start crocheting the final round. Make a beginning chain. Turn your work. Crochet Rev SC for this round. Rotate the hook counterclockwise. Pick up the first single crochet from the previous round, and crochet 1 single crochet. That's how you finish one Rev SC. Let me demonstrate the method for crocheting a Rev SC again. Pay attention. For this round, skip 1 stitch between each Rev SC. Slightly enlarge the yarn loop. Rotate the hook counterclockwise. Crochet 1 single crochet into the adjacent stitch on the right. Another Rev SC is now completed. Continue crocheting Rev SC along the stitches of the previous round. Remember to skip 1 stitch in between. If the number of stitches doesn't match the chart by the end, it's fine. You can crochet 1 more stitch, then slip stitch directly into the first stitch. Pick up approximately 1-2 strands of yarn and insert. Leave a yarn tail, fasten off, and weave in the ends. That completes the final round of edging. The edging is now finished. Next, we'll move on to crocheting the collar. Crochet back and forth along the neckline position. Now, let's show. First, we'll crochet row 1. Note that I'm working with a small sample here. The number of rounds for the edging is fewer. Pay attention. In the second to last round of the edging, join the yarn at 1 stitch. This is the same insertion point as the Rev SC. Then make 2 chains. Next, skip 1 stitch, and work 1 double crochet. Note that the insertion is in the second to last round. There won't be repeated reminders after this. Treat the beginning chain and the double crochet as a special DC2 tog. Then work 2 chains. Next, work 1 DC2 tog. Here, between 2 unclosed double crochets, for the DC2 tog. Almost all are skipping 1 stitch. Some positions skip 2 stitches. Everyone, refer to the chart and crochet, work 2 more chains. Continue to finish this row. After completing the last DC2 tog, the first row is done. Now let's work on the second row. Start with 3 chains. Turn your work. Then work 1 slip stitch in the next chain space. Work 3 chains. Slip stitch in the adjacent chain space. This row is worked by making slip stitches in the chain spaces. Work 3 chains in between. Continue to finish this row. The last slip stitch is worked in the special DC2 tog from the previous row. That completes the second row. Now let's work on the third row. Start with 2 chains. Turn your work. Refer to the chart to finish this row. After completing the last DC2 tog, the third row is finished. Now let's move on to the fourth row. Start with 1 chain. Turn your work. Begin with 1 single crochet. Then work 2 chains. Continue with slip stitches and chains. Finish this row. Pay attention. There are more chains in the intervals in this row. After completing the last slip stitch, work 2 chains, then work 1 double crochet. That completes the fourth row. Next, continue to follow the chart, and finish all rows before the collar's last row. Once done, leave a yarn tail, fasten off, and weave in the ends. After that, move on to crochet the last row. I'll continue demonstrating with the sample. There are fewer rows. Place the wrong side of the cardigan facing you. Then, at the first row of the collar, join the yarn in the last stitch's insertion point. Make 1 chain. Then work along the edge. First, pick up the unclosed stitch on the side of the first row, and work 3 single crochets. You can weave in the ends while crocheting. Next, pick up the unclosed stitch on the side of the third row, work 1 single crochet. Then make a CH3SL picket. First, work 3 chains. Next, pick up the strand above and the strand below. Then work 1 slip stitch. That completes 1 CH3SL picket. Here, work 2 more single crochets. Then skip 1 row as an interval. Pick up the double crochet on the side of the corresponding row. First, work 1 single crochet. Then make another CH3SL picket. Continue with 2 more single crochets here. Let's take a look. On this side, you're picking up the corresponding stitches from the edge. Work 3 single crochets. Make a CH3SL picket on the first stitch. Below that, continue until you finish this side. Once completed, you'll reach the last row position. Work 3 single crochets in the chain space, and make a CH3SL picket on the first stitch. Make sure to finish the last row position as well. After finishing, Move on to the other side. Start this row by crocheting along the edge with double crochets. Finally, pick up the chains along the edge. Once done, make a slip stitch at the joining position from the first row. Lastly, leave a yarn tail, fasten off, and weave in the ends. That concludes the collar section. Now let's move on to crocheting the cuffs. Let's take a look at the finished product. Here, crochet along the remaining one side of the 3 motifs on the sleeve. The method is almost the same as crocheting the edging. Pay attention, between each 2 Rev SC in the last round, you also need to skip 1 stitch. Below, complete it on your own. That concludes the cuffs section. Finally, let's make the buttons. First, crochet the button motifs. Then wrap the buttons. Sew it onto the corresponding position of the buttonhole after crocheting. The button is made using the magic ring method. Follow the magic ring. Now, let's show. Start with a magic ring first. Make 1 beginning chain. Then crochet 8 single crochets into the magic ring. Tighten the ring after completing. Join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet. Pull tight. That completes the first round. Now let's move on to the second round. Make 1 beginning chain. Work the corresponding number of SC2 in 1. Finish with 1 single crochet. Join with a slip stitch